Good morning, everybody. Very happy to be with you. So after La Vie en Rose, it's going to be La Vie en Jaune the whole day. You have a bit of the secret sauce of BPI when we start our events with, you know, a tenor singing. Sometimes it could be even more demonstrative in our events in Paris. That's what we think is the good way to do business together. The whole day is going to be about dialogue between the French and the Singaporean friends. You're going to have many roundtables and conferences and so forth. A dialogue that started exactly 10 years ago, because today we are happy to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the presence of Bpifrance in Singapore. The reason is, 10 years ago, that when we created BPI, we started to focus our attention on, you know, what we thought were extraordinary benchmarks for us, which were, first one was San Francisco, and we opened an office in San Francisco at that time. Second one was Singapore. We opened an office in Singapore at that time. Third one was, we didn't open an office because it was too close to France, Israel. And I would say the fourth one was probably Dakar. And why was Dakar on the scene and on the geography? Because we were absolutely convinced that there was something to do for Bpifrance in Africa. A lot to learn, maybe not in tech, but in many other instances, and we are still present in Dakar. This was 10 years ago. So 4 cities, Dakar, San Francisco, Tel Aviv, Singapore. And we're still there. And why are we still there? Because year after year, we send our delegations to the FinTech Festival. We want Bpifrance to be what we call a big FinTech with a network, and not a classical bank with a FinTech branch. It's very different. And being a FinTech with a physical, you know, network of branches, we want to be constantly inspired by what we find in Singapore, notably in the frontier fields. Example, everything which is linked to blockchain and crypto. What is fascinating in the landscape of Singapore is the incredible alignment between the regulators, the bankers, and the startups on the scene. We would really like to, you know, mirror that in France. We are not very far from that, but I must say that the cost of coordination of all those instances in France is a little bit higher than what we think. Cost of coordination, that's an expression. I think that you would understand what it means. Consensus building on a big country like France, or even Europe with the European Central Bank, is something which is constantly a challenge. I would also say and congratulate and thank the presence of the ambassador today and other significant Singaporean colleagues that in the past 10 years we have progressively built relationships with Singaporean partners, which are deeper and deeper. You may not know that we started our dialogue, for example, with Temasek 10 years ago. At that time, there were very few co-investments between us, and now it's much more the case. And it's going to be more and more the case. Temasek opened an office in Paris. It was in May 2024. We are collaborating in the big fields of frontier, which are agri-food, a company called Innovafeed, in quantum computing, a company called Pascal. We are together in artificial intelligence on Mistral. And I could cite, you know, we are on new energy with them on Neoen. And why do we particularly like Temasek? I don't know where Temasek is today. I'm going to have meetings with them in the course of the day. It is also because we like to say, not only to them, but also to you, I see a lot of French colleagues here, that we could be a sort of French Temasek. And what is a French Temasek? You know, when you look at the documents of this extraordinary fund, they say we are state-owned, but we are not state-directed. We like that, actually, to be honest. And this is part of the secret sauce of the bank also. There is a lot of independence in investment, I mean total independence in investment. We have become, and I will finish on a short description of what BPI is today. We have become one of the biggest private equity structure in Europe. I know there are others here in the room. By the number of deals, I think probably we are the biggest by far, because we do a lot of small deals, also very, very big deals when we invest in Stellantis, in Technip, in Arkema, in Alstom. It's big tickets, of course. Huh? But we do a lot of SMEs, a lot of startups, this you know, but a lot of SMEs also. So there are some years in which we are, by PitchBook voice, #2 worldwide in the number of deals of equity. There are years in which we do something like 250 deals, acquisitions. And then on top of that, you had the transactions when we exit. So it's a massive equity business, Bpifrance. We have 700 people to do that. We are big funds of funds also. We invest now in funds of funds 1.7 billion per year. We are invested in more than 200 funds, so we are the biggest funds of funds in continental Europe today. And we have, pivoted to managing funds on behalf of third parties, private third parties, big time in the past 6 years. So currently, for example, we're raising a fund of 5 billion euros, in which we will put 1 billion. 4 billion will be private. It's going to be the second generation of what we've already done. The name of the first fund was called Lake 1. And this second fund will be a pure private equity fund, investing not only in France, but in Europe. Very significant tickets of 200, 300, 400 million, private. 5 billion we raise. But also we raised a lot of money for our different funds dedicated to energy transition, biotech with Sanofi, everything which is linked to railway, new tech with Alstom. We have funds with Stellantis and Renault, and we have funds of funds which also are fed by the French insurance companies and so forth. So just like Temasek, we are more and more an asset manager which is managing a lot of private funds. And not only French funds, French private funds, but foreign private funds. Our biggest partner being not Temasek, I would like, or not even GIC. Our biggest foreign partner is Mubadala. Mubadala has a 4 billion euros partnership with Bpifrance, which is very, very significant. And we're going to do that more and more. So today, the asset under management of the bank is 65 billion. For a bank which was supposed to invest only in France, it's big, compared to the 300 billion of Temasek investing worldwide. And the 60, 65 billion is poised to go to 100 billion in the next years. That's what we want to do. On top of that, we are a credit structure. So we have a big credit business with 20 billion per year. We are also an advisory services company. We are the biggest advisory services company of France for SMEs, the head of which being Mathieu somewhere here. So we do 10,000 consulting assignments per year for SMEs and startups. So we have 1,500 consultants to do that. It's a big structure now for us. And we are also the French ECA. So everything which is linked to export guarantees is backed by BPI. A lot of big contracts relative to Singapore have been guaranteed by BPI and the teams of the French Treasury here present at the embassy. And that's basically where we are. So to finish on, the main lines of the strategy of BPI in the next years are very simple. First of all, climate. We want to invest and finance 35 billion euros on climate questions in the next 4 years. Second, re-industrialization of France. It's the same figure, 35 billion, and it's additive in the next 4 years. And then AI. On AI, we intend to invest 15 billion. 15 billion, so it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. France has the chance of having built so many elite schools in mathematics that we have a real ecosystem of developers and engineers in AI that we see in California, but we see also, of course, fortunately, a lot staying in France, building startups that we will more and more finance with the infrastructure which is below. And I mean, you can just remember those 3 chapters of what we do. Of course, there's a lot dedicated to healthcare also, 12 billion in the next 4 years, and so forth. I mean, a lot in semiconductors, with big ambitions that we have here in Singapore. Thank you for the presence of ST Microelectronics, which is the biggest line of the portfolio of Bpifrance. So for Singapore friends which are here in the room, the biggest line of Bpifrance portfolio is here in Singapore. It's ST Microelectronics. So we will continue to push a lot of money for the development of the new nodes of ST Microelectronics. This is what I wanted to tell you for this introduction. Take good care for the day. We're going to have many Singapore-French dialogues, starting with geopolitics and very good comments. Thank you very much. Take care.